What's going on, guys? It's Char here, back with another episode of Charred Takes, the almost weekly series. Now, today I have a very serious topic of discussion, but before we get into that, I want to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates. I'm recording this the day of Christmas Eve, so I hope you guys are taking some well-deserved time off, some time with your family, and things such as that, and just having a great time. Now, today is gonna be a fun episode because it's definitely Christmas themed, if you couldn't tell by the title and the thumbnail. But I want to get into a couple of Charred Takes disclaimers and a couple other disclaimers you probably want to stick around for. If not, go ahead and skip to the timestamp. I put the chapters in the video where the discussion starts. Throw me on a side monitor. It's usually a podcast format, even though today we'll actually have some visuals accompanied. So if you want to keep it on here once we get into it proper, that'd be cool. But let's get into those slight disclaimers. As always, this is Charred Takes. You know how it goes. I'm going to give you guys a take at the beginning and reiterate at the end of today's video, and I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Is the take cooking or is it charred? Was it in the oven too long, and am I off the deep end? Charred is a weird discussion for today's topic, considering today's topic we're going to be talking about is Iceman. Now, again, these are all just completely my opinions, and I encourage, that's the whole point of the series. I encourage a lot of discussion and thoughts in the comment section below. Please leave your own thoughts and comments there as well. Let me know if it was cooking or it was charred. And today, slight disclaimer, it's not going to be the most serious of topics today. It's going to be a take that you can give your own opinion on, but my reasonings for why I believe this is more because Iceman's kind of like my favorite hero from the wave, more than anything sort of empirical, scientific, or objective. So as you can tell, it's gonna be a very serious discussion with a very serious onesie I have on right now. So don't take any of the stuff or the slander I say too seriously. It's supposed to be fun, and I want you to leave your same takes, serious or not, in the comment section down below. It'll be a lot of fun, just something chill, something fun for the holiday season. Okay, so today's topic is about Iceman, and the thesis statement for this entire video is going to be Iceman is my favorite, and why he should be your favorite hero from this latest wave of Marvel Champions. He is obviously the best hero that was released. He's the strongest. He's the most fun, and he's my favorite, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys why. But not just looking at my face only today, there's actually going to be some visuals on the screen as we go through and review this past year of Marvel Champions. Okay, so here we are with the first release of the year, The Age of Apocalypse, which was released March 29th of 2024. Now, if I need to show you guys why Iceman is my favorite and why he should be your favorite hero from this wave, I have to go through every other hero that released before and after him to really compare him to at the very end and really make my point. So we're gonna start off with Age of Apocalypse. Now, I'm gonna be honest, if you didn't read the disclaimer, we're having a very serious discussion here today, and there's going to be no kind of stupid inconsistencies. Of course not. There would never be anything like that in a video like this. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, we're talking about Age of Apocalypse, and I'm rating these two heroes that I haven't even played yet. So I wanted to make a goal since I got into the game this year to catch up with everything in the game before getting the last expansion box. And even though I got the heroes that came out after this expansion box, I still have neither played Bishop or Magic, which hopefully I'll be getting for this Christmas time. And by the time you guys see this, I might already be playing through those heroes for the first time. But as of now, I do not have those heroes at all. So having to rate why Iceman's better than them is going to be kind of interesting, but I have a very serious notebook. I've been making a list, checking it twice, and making sure I had every single possible angle why Iceman was a better hero than these two. So let's get into it. We're going to go ahead and start with Bishop here. So Bishop's pretty cool. Let's say a couple cool things first. Let's do this for all the heroes. I kind of like his energy resource gimmick. It's pretty cool. I think when I play him, it's going to be a lot of fun. There's very few heroes in this game that I've played on the first time, even with their precon, and not had fun. It's usually mostly the protection precon deck. But we're not here to say things positive. He has cool upgrades. He's got cool resources. I like his gimmick. But we're here to say why Iceman is better, which means we have to do some slander, and we have to point out where Bishop's faults are. So I've got, of course, the list that I checked twice. And Bishop, he isn't looking nice. So, the first bullet point I got here is, wow, let's look at this really fun deck build. Guys, check it out. I'm posting on Marvel CDB. Look at this really fun deck build I made with Bishop. And then you're playing him in aggression and your opening hand is 4 resources. Okay, maybe that's a one-off thing. All right, I'm going to go and play him in leadership. My opening hand, 4 resources. Okay, I'm going to go play him in protection, 4 resources. Okay, I'm going to go play him in, what's the last one? Justice, 4 resources. Okay, I'm going to go play him in pool, 6 resources because of the self-preservation and stuff. That's the first one. You don't make fun decks with Bishop. It's all resources. Of course, there's no depth to it. Completely serious. Second point. It's a slander about his supercharged card here, which is an energy sink card. So if you guys don't know what an energy sink is, it's you just put a bunch of resources in this card and the hero interrupt and you make your basic attack, you do 8 damage. And I was like, wow, such a really cool and unique mechanic. If only this hadn't been done before, except it has with Captain Marvel in the core box. Bishop isn't unique. His decks are all the same, and that's why those are 2 negatives, and I'm going to show why Iceman is better coming up. Next hero. Okay, I can't believe I'm doing this. Next hero, we're going with Magic. So Magic is another one I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with playing. I like the Mystic trait. I like Colossus. Her upgrades seem fun. Her events seem really cool. And the idea of playing with your deck face up, the top card of your deck face up is really fun. It reminds you of like Convulsion from Nature, from Yu-Gi-Oh! If you guys know that. Probably not. But let's get into it. Again, consulting the list once more, seeing why Iceman is better. I said a couple positive. Let's get into the negatives with Magic. The top card of my deck is all face up all the time. I'm so cool and interesting. Why don't you get some inspiration from older designs, more tried and true designs? He's trying to be unique for the sake of it. Does this completely contradict the point that I just deducted points from Bishop from? Of course it does. Is it still negative? Of course it is. Go to an older design. Okay, I can't play this up much more than that. Yeah, that's slander, apparently. Playing with your deck face up and getting extra hand size is a negative, so keep that in mind. Another one, which is another criticism I actually heard before, and I was reading through her cards, and it might actually be true. I don't know, I've never played her. What do you mean I'm relying on Limbo to be a real hero? That's basically it. It's just kind of a criticism on this card here. I heard playing Magic with Limbo and playing Magic without Limbo are like 2 different, completely different heroes. Iceman isn't so reliant on 1-cost supports like that. Well, now that I think about it, never mind. Yes, this Limbo card's really good, but you need to find it. So that's a negative. And then the last one was, this is going to be a criticism that comes up later too. I mean, you have this super awesome ally here. We love Colossus, the basic ally in X-Men, Utopia Readies. He has the toughness here too. You can play him from your hand without exhausting him also with this really cool interrupt. Super cool card. The problem, Colossus is so cool. Every time in multiplayer, your ally is going to be loading up with Colossus as a dead card in the deck. And because of that, it's a negative for Magic. Okay, that's Age of Apocalypse done. Then we're moving on to the next release, which was after Iceman, because Iceman was the next hero afterwards, and they peaked with Iceman. So we have to say some positive and negatives about Jubilee now. So again, consulting the list here, let's say some positives. Jubilee I had a lot of fun with, and I think in the community, if we're going on a serious note, she had a bit of a negative reception for kind of no reason. I like the shopping spree side scheme, even though I have some qualms about the way it works. I think it's really fun, especially in multiplayer. I like the fact she can generate the resources. I like her events. I think she is a bit weaker than some of the X-Men heroes that have come out, but I don't think that should be a reason why she was criticized so heavily. I think she's perfectly functional and able to complete and defeat a lot of the strongest villains in this game in solo, in multiplayer, and hold her weight. She's super fun. But we're not talking about that today. What we're talking about is why she's worse than Iceman. So, of course, consulting the list, boom, number 1. Same thing as Colossus. One of the most popular heroes in the entire game. She decided to have Wolverine as her signature ally, which means this is going to be a dead card because, of course, if you're playing Jubilee, your partner or your multiplayer game is always going to have a Wolverine in it, which means you can never, ever play this card. There's no such thing as coordination. This card will always be dead in multiplayer. What's the next one? Okay, she needs 2 upgrades to get online, which is crazy. I mean, like 2 upgrades in this economy. Can you believe that? She needs the coat and the glasses. We can't be doing this. Jubilee, sorry, not sorry. Too expensive. We can't get these down. And the shopping spree, you have to exhaust twice. We can't do that. We don't count any disguise shenanigans or beat cop. That's cheating around here. And then I was really struggling to find another like kind of slander criticism for her, but what's the one that everyone always says? Boo, steady and stalwart, none of her cards work, something like that. Yeah. Iceman doesn't have to worry about steady and stalwart. That is a real positive she has, and we'll see that later. We're always alluding to this ending right here that's coming up. I hope I am, for the people listening audio only, I just showed a picture of Binding Flash, and Jubilee has a lot of stuns and confused in her kit, which does not work against steady and stalwart. Well, it works against steady, but they're just not as efficient. Not something Iceman needs to worry about. Love Jubilee, but Iceman's still better. We're on to the next one. So we got Nightcrawler here, and he was the one right after Jubilee. Again, I had a ton of fun with Nightcrawler. I tried a couple of the gimmicky kind of like one ally decks, which is only Day Tripper, and trying to perfect defense with no allies. I love the Kurt Cutlass. This is one of my favorite upgrades in the game. I like the Chapel. The BAMFs and the way that things work together. He's just really cool. I had a lot of fun with Nightcrawler. I like his stats too. Like, man, the Cutlasses are crazy in my opinion. But we're not talking about positives. Iceman's better, and we gotta prove why. So the first slander I've got is, imagine only having 3 copies of your signature upgrade card. Iceman could never. He has 6. He is balling with 6 Frostbite. The BAMFs are 3, and they're a part of your deck, and they're not always there when you need them. There's no such thing as proper play. You will never have the BAMF when you need it. Take it from me. What's another one? How are we supposed to flip? I mean, Jubilee has a stunning confuse, even though it was a negative. Remember, it's a negative because steady and stalwart exists. But now it's a positive in this context because at least she has a way to do it against non-steady. How is Kurt gonna get a flip? I mean, we're just gonna completely ignore his we're going to completely ignore his port away. That card doesn't exist. How does he get a safe flip down alter ego? He can't. He has a 2 Thor, but that's not enough. He has no way to stop scheming. He has no way to stop an activation. He can't flip down. I didn't think this one completely through because I forgot he had port away. Next slander. The next one has to do with the Nemesis set. We're counting Nemesis sets. Apparently, we're making new rules as we go along. This Azazel guy is crazy. He is, he introduced the find keyword, which is a negative for the game overall. So Nightcrawler gets deducted points for that. I don't actually think it's a negative for the game overall. I think it was pretty interesting, but I like how they were trying to get away from people metagaming, and they're just like, no, that the word is find. Wherever this guy is, you put him into play against you, which I thought was pretty interesting. But it's a negative in this case because it makes Nightcrawler weaker. Look at this. It doesn't say search your deck, search the encounter deck or discard pile. It says find. So even if he's like an Ultron drone, even if he's out of the game area, he is coming in and he is attacking or scheming against you. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful. And yeah, that's Nightcrawler. So we're getting to the end of the wave now, and then we can finally talk about the golden boy of today, the frozen boy, because it's Christmas and the holiday season. Iceman is at the end of this, but we have to talk about Magneto, Eric Lechner first. I don't know how to say that. My apologies for butchering that name. Magneto, he was the newest release for Marvel Champions up until this point, and he was a lot of fun. I like his idea of like he's kind of like a ready hero kind of. He's got like his armor, his cape to ready. I like magnetic bubble that gives you retaliate, but it also is like basically a big HP sponge, 3 for 6. His helmet, he generates resources. He can always pull a magnetic card from his action magnetic pull, use it to ready, then you can flip down, shuffle 3 cards back into your deck. It's a bit restricted on the shuffle, but Magneto has some cool stuff. He's a really good all-arounder. He's got good stats. He's got good heals. He's got like good cards in his kit, but we're not here for that. We're here for the slander, as you guys already know. Got the list back once again. No more positive. So here's my first one. How are you going to play any aspect cards when you're milling your entire deck from Magnetic Pull? You're going to go ahead, you're going to pop Magnetic Pull. You want to play like a repurpose build, boom, all the repurpose is gone. You want to play some sort of like ally aggression bootcamp build, boom, all your allies are gone. You want to play like a X-Men attachment deck with like gold balls, boom, all your X-Men allies and attachments are gone. You can't do anything. If you're using his Magnetic Pull every round, you can never play an aspect card. Take it from me. Don't fact check that. No minions. Oh, here's actual slander, which I've heard before, and I kind of felt when I was playing through his pre-con. You always got 4 dead cards in your deck unless there's minions, but there's never minions. Take it from me, as with the rest of this video. Magnetic Missile and wrapped in metal are super fun and unique combo. If there's minions, when there's no minions, you just have you basically have 4 blank cards in your deck. That's a negative. Iceman could never have a card like that in his deck. They're just duds. And the last one, which is a criticism that I'm still salty about for Iceman, everyone's saying that his cards are too expensive. I don't think it's true. I think they're slightly more expensive than the average, for being serious. But we're saying Iceman's cards are this expensive, but we're giving Magneto a pass with 2-cost support Asteroid M, with a 3-cost upgrade Magneto's helmet, with a 2-cost upgrade Magneto's armor, with a 2-cost upgrade Magneto's cape, and with a 3-cost magnetic bubble. Okay, this one doesn't really count, but he has 4 different cards, upgrades, and supports that he wants to get on the table. I guess Asteroid M isn't really needed regardless, or the helmet, so we're really down to 2. But again, we're not focusing on that right now. In this economy, yes, he has double resources. Yes, he gets a card every turn. But still, there's a lot of stuff he wants to get on the table to really get going. He needs that Utopia too, of course. So, of course, that's a negative. After the end of it all, we have to go ahead and see the real GOAT of this wave. And again, this is to get out of the persona here for a bit. This is actually unironic. Iceman is my favorite from this wave. Maybe the expansion box will change this, but we have to get to it. We have to talk about it. The GOAT of today's episode and Christmas special man himself. We've got Iceman. What is there to say about Iceman that hasn't been said? Will I be going over any of his negatives? Probably not. Will I be going over all of his positives and the things that I subjectively enjoy about him? Of course I will. Let's get into it. We're going over Iceman. My favorite hero of the year. Perfect for the Christmas special. Bobby Drake, it's snowing here over where I'm at. Absolutely not. That's a lie. I'm in Texas and we're having an 80-degree Christmas. But Iceman gives me that same joy and whimsy as waking up if there was snow outside. Okay, so Iceman, let's look at this. We're looking at his hero card. Boom, 11 hit points, really good, above average. 1/2/2 stat line, not bad. Thor could be a bit higher, but this freeze card, this is Iceman. This is the novelty. We don't have any other hero in the game like this. He is debuffs. Interrupt. When he makes his basic attack or defense, you attach a set-aside copy of Frostbite to the enemy. First positive, these don't clog up your deck. If this were a 0-cost upgrade, bam, it would be clogging up all your hands, not there when you need it. These are on the set-aside area. Whenever you use a basic activation that isn't a thwart or a heal, you can attach these to the enemy. It's a permanent, and they get -1 scheme and -1 attack, and the next time they activate, it is applied to that activation. It's so good. He has ways to reduce damage for allies in multiplayer, reduce damage for himself in single player. He can reduce the thwart, get some good flips down so that the enemy doesn't scheme out the main, lets you recover, lets you take advantage of your alter ego ability. He's awesome. I love the Frostbites. It's his defining trait, and I think it works really well and is really fun. Then we have his alter ego side with the cool off response. After you change to this form, you shuffle 1 ice card from your discard pile into your deck for each copy of Frostbite in play. There are some really crazy, fun, and thematic ice cards in his kit. The ice cards are really strong, so of course, we're not going to think about the fact that it's really restricted to one trait that's only in his kit. We don't think about that. We think about the really strong cards he can shuffle back in, and it's going to be a ton of fun. I lost my train of thought, but we're consulting the list because, of course, it's not just a naughty list. It is a nice list, and Iceman is the nicest there is in this wave. Now we have, he's got that whole debuff archetype. We already talked about this. Now we're moving on to his allies. Like, boom, look at these allies. 2-cost ally, 2 attack. Already crazy. 2 health. Super crazy. Read this. Ice trait, X-Men trait. Boom. Team building exercise. He can discount it with one of his upgrades. Basically a 1-cost ally. And takes no consequential damage when there's a Frostbite attached. You can get so much damage over the course of the game with the snow clones. They're so crazy. Now, they can't thwart at all, which is a negative because he's already got weak thwarting. But again, we're not focusing on negatives here. We're focusing on the positives. These can do a ton of damage, and in a pinch, they can act as that chump block for you. Keep your HP high. Give you a flip down. Can be shuffled back in with your alter ego. They are so, so good. Next thing we're talking about is everyone's talking about his kit is so overpriced. No, it's not, and I'm here to tell you why. Boom, 2-cost upgrade power belt. This card is insane. It is an endurance and it is a resource generator for all his really good events and ice cards because the snow clones are allies, so it's not just event. Insane card, really good, and everyone's talking about he's so expensive. He only has 2-cost upgrades. The ice slide, this is bait. Everyone always points at the ice slide. Oh, I hate when it goes away and it flips out. that's bait. It's for the last push, and it's for when you know you're not flipping down an alter ego anymore. If you don't, there are some games that I never have to play Ice Slide, and I don't miss it. It's really good when it works out, but the problem is people try and force it, and that's where they get messed up. And now, for quite possibly, I could make a whole video on this card alone. Quite possibly the most misunderstood card in the entire game in Iceman's kit, not hyperbole, is cryokinetic perception. The only discussion I see surrounding this card is negative, and I don't understand why. People always focus on this last sentence here. I'm showing cryokinetic perception on screen, which says, if that card has an ice trait because you draw off of this card, ready, Iceman. Everyone's like, man, I wish the ready was more consistent. Man, the ready is so inconsistent. I wish there was some way we could add more ice cards from out of aspect. Do I necessarily disagree with those criticisms? No, but they're not focusing on the important thing, which literally says he always wants to resolve his freeze ability on his hero card. That is what he's built around. He's a debuffer. You always want to do this every single turn. And it says, after you resolve your freeze ability, exhaust this card, draw one card. Let's read that again. When you resolve your freeze ability, draw one card. You want to know what is one of the best cards in the game that also draws you a card that costs 4? It's called Avengers Mansion. Now, this is tied to an activation, and it's a basic attack or defense activation. That's true, but it's also half the cost. And when you get this down turn 1, or like even one of your earlier turns, Iceman is completely crazy. It's so good. It is so good. You attack that first turn, get a card draw. Maybe you play a different card. Then on the defense, if you don't have any allies out of block for you, use your basic defense. Boom, hero mode. You got a 6-card hand again. It's crazy. It's crazy. Everyone's talking about his economy being low. This card is crazy. They only focus on the readying part, and they trick you into thinking this card's bad, but it's not bad. I'm here to tell you it is very, very good. Then I mean this has to be the coup de grace. I mean this is just one of the best cards in all of existence. You know, we were kind of roasting on Jubilee for setting in Stalwart, and then we also roasted Nightcrawler for not having those same tools Jubilee has. So, you know, the logic here is always inconsistent. But for this one, this isn't inconsistent. Frozen Solid is amazing. It is the only card in the game, well, not the only one. You have like Webbed Up and like Grasping Tendrils, but we're ignoring those for now. In this wave, this card, Frozen Solid, is a 3-cost upgrade. We're going to read it out. Hero form only, attach to the enemy, max 1 per enemy. Force Interrupt. When the enemy would activate, discard Frozen Solid instead. It is a stun or a confuse. It is whatever you need at that point in time, and it is guaranteed to go off. It cannot be blocked by Steady or Stalwart. And then, on top of all of that, that would already be crazy, it attaches a set-aside copy of Frostbite to that enemy, which can trigger your snow clones doing some damage, which can do, you know, all sorts of Arctic attack for more damage and things such as that. Use your Ice Blast and whatnot. It's just, it's so good. This card's so good. It's so crazy. And yeah. And then to round it off, Iceman just has really fun events, and he has the Ice Wall, which is it's a multiplayer card. I'll be honest. When people say his kit is a bit overpriced, I could kind of see it on the Ice Wall, but it's so versatile that I give it a pass. Arctic Attack, boom, 4 damage or Frostbite or 6 damage, so good. Ice Blast, huge AoE damage on the board, and to a player who has a lot of minions in games with them. And then Chill Out, I mean, like, why do you need any thwarting problems? Boom, we have what's it called? We have 4 Justice right here, 3 threat from a scheme, and then you put a Frostbite on them. I mean, that's basically 4 threat removal. You get a flip down. So good. Also, we're going out of the bounds of what counts for this. He introduced Beak. Basically one of the best allies in the game, period. So, yeah, that's another Iceman W. Don't let anyone tell you differently. But yeah, that is that. Let's go ahead and get to the conclusion again. And let's restate my thesis on this very serious, completely 100% serious, but also very fun Christmas episode of Charred Takes I have for you guys today. We're going to reiterate it. Iceman is my favorite, but he is also the best and strongest hero from the latest wave of this past year of Marvel Champions. Don't let anyone tell you differently. But if you do, for some reason, after all the great evidence I've shown you today, think differently, and you want to talk to me in the comments, whether seriously or with this kind of bravado I was talking about in this video today. If you want to talk about seriously which one you enjoy the most and think is the strongest, seriously or in this fake evidence type of bravado way, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below. I'm sure there'll be a ton of fun discussion, both serious and not so serious, and I'm looking forward to it. Once again, guys, have a happy holidays and have a very Merry Christmas if you celebrate. I for sure am going to have a great time spending it with family, friends alike. I'm just very thankful around this time of year. And I'm very thankful for all of you guys for hanging out with me, watching these videos, interacting with the content and everything. Seriously, it means a lot from the bottom of my heart. Take it easy, everyone. Leave a like down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and please comment what your favorite hero from this wave was. There's some more stuff cooking in the future and into the new year when Marvel Rewind kicks back up. I know it was supposed to be a Rewind episode today, but we're putting that off until the start of the new year. Thank you guys again. As always, this has been Char. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. Goodbye.